The stock market once again reaches all-time highs, and we have a almost all but confirmed trade deal that's in the works now with the Chinese government and the United States. And again, things are back in this euphoric all-time high push. Now the government shutdown is still looming in the background, but for all things considered, fundamentally with the market, it seems like things are finally taking a turn. You know, last week we talked about nothing was happening. This week, definitely things are going on. Now we look at what happened here. China-US sketch out rare earths, tariff pause for Trump and to consider. Now this is going to pause for like the next month or two, so worth considering. I think it actually goes on for a year, according to their words. I want to highlight that. So we should have at least a month or two where we don't have to worry about this. Worth mentioning. This is definitely putting us in a very good position, right? Now again, this comes from the United States threatening the Chinese government, threatening more export curbs, China making threats back to the United States. But again, it seems like we're right back where we started, just working things out. I also want to highlight this means for rare earth materials. I do suspect some of these names will dip and become massive buying opportunities. I'll be covering that more in the videos as we move along, but just want to address where the market is, where we're going, and everything to be expecting for this week. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, because we have a lot to go on now, let me tell you how this week's going to go. You have some smaller earnings to start the week, Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, the big earnings start. But before the big earnings even come out, which is worth mentioning, we start talking about the big earnings, Meta, Facebook, Microsoft, Google. Well, you have the Fed meeting that day as well, with the rate cut that either will or will not happen. Now, everyone and their mom is betting on a 0.25 cut. If it comes out 0.5, I think we might break the market. I'm not going to lie to you. So also to be considering what's happening there. It's worth mentioning also, inflation is creeping up, but is moving at a very slow rate despite having all these tariffs, which again, the Fed has came out and said transitory. And it's worth mentioning that again, these tariffs are moving up inflation very slowly compared to the past, right? So you see these news articles coming out, which I talked about in yesterday's video, that's saying, oh, inflation's rising at its fastest rate in 2 years. Well, inflation's been going down over the past 2 years. So what are we talking about? So again, it's kind of manipulated information out there, but that also leads me back into another big area of the market where mortgage rates, which again, you're seeing more manipulated kind of posts, which everyone's like, oh, you're at your lowest spot in a year. No one really cares. Like, yeah, we're back at 6%, cool, but like we didn't want to see us back down to 5%, 4%. Then we're really talking. That's when the housing market will start to boom once again. So again, what and why we're looking at it, and also just breaking down like what and why you should be looking at certain things in the news for yourself and not just reading headlines. Because again, yeah, nice move here down mortgage rates, but you won't see the real benefits until we're breaking down. Because what you're gonna see is what I've in the later half of this week after rate cuts, in my opinion, is you'll see mortgage rates get below where we were back in 2023. And then you're going to have the market, you have Trump, you're going to have everyone saying, oh, well, we're at our lowest spot on mortgage rates in 3 years. And I'm like, well, it's that same spot is basically where we were last September. It's like the same, you know what I mean? But like that's where we'll start really getting crazy there, which most likely will continue to go down, mortgage rates, interest rates, etc., as long as the Fed continues cutting rates and inflation is on the right path. So a lot of stuff, like I said, is going on, what we should be looking at, what we should be considering. And I will also say this definitely impacts a lot of the earnings outside of tech. Very important to understand that as well. Now, when we go into the NASDAQ, what's going on here? Now, this is just like one of the most beautiful charts you can see. You can see with our stock market crash, and again, I talked a lot about the crash, the big dip, that if we were going to get one, what you had to see. And again, it's important that you are mapping out and you're writing out your thought process, right? You're writing out your trade plan. You're writing out your expectations. So you can go back and look, where did things go right? Where did things go wrong? How can I fix this? How can I address this? Well, things that I talked about was very clear. If you don't get back below this level here of 24.5 on the NASDAQ futures, or going into SPY and QQQ, SPY getting back below the 50 MA, which again, you've been grinding above the 50 MA going all the way back into May. All right, QQQ, similar instance here, grinding above the 50-day moving average to the upside. If you can't break that, there's no reason to start swinging puts. Now, on the other side, I said, look, I don't think you're in this area to where you can just start holding calls and going crazy, right? You have big earnings coming up, and then most of all, you have the China trade, debacle going on currently. And again, once that got solved, well, guess what happens? When you start shooting up, and now you're back in this area of a lot. Buyers are definitely taking the driver's seat right now with semiconductors, tech as a whole, just ripping. And I do believe when you look at IWM, again, we have a lot to talk about here today, right? IWM, mid-cap, the mid-cap ETF, right? Breaking out. looking very strong. So again, lots of opportunities in front of us, a lot we really need to talk about, and we'll go right into that. Now, before we do that, I want to say right now, if you want to see what we're trading, how we're trading every single day, the Discord link is down below for you. Now, again, if you go into Discord, we have a whole section literally called Start Here, so which I have a video explaining everything in Discord, what to look for. But we have our futures, which is the main area, which every day we get started with our trade plan, what to expect. I kind of give updates throughout the day there as well. Go into watch list. We have JS's level or zone as well for his leaps, etc. Watch list, Jay's watch list every morning here as well. Trade it is for swing trades. Haven't got any swing trades in the past few week or two. And then as well as the scalps, which is all we've been doing. It's been scalpers like nation recently. So again, absolutely killing the scalps, all mentioned there as well. Profits as well. Link is down below. Do what you gotta do. Now, going into this, end of October, beginning of November, first thing, we really just wanted to make it through like the end of September, end of October, because historically those are some of the worst times in the world for the market. We all know this. It's not a crazy idea, theory, just statistically it's one of the worst times. Now, as we move into the end of the year, I get put in this position of I'm pretty damn bullish overall right now. The trade war was the real concern. The government shutdown, it looks like it's almost having no impact right now. It could down the line. We'll see if that gets resolved. But as of right now, you are in a very good position. The other thing to consider is, although the trade war or the government shutdown isn't necessarily bringing the market down, you have to assume when that gets resolved that we get some buying pressure off of it. Every time in the past the government shutdown was avoided or there was a solution, we always saw buying. Now, that's more speculative, trying to predict, but again, worth considering. Now, when we look at the IWM, again, you haven't seen this breakout. I don't want to go back into past cases, but you guys already know what I'm going to say here, right? IWM has not broken out of this box in almost 5 years. Last time was back here in 2020 when the market went berserk. So again, worth mentioning, this is still very interesting. Now, one of the biggest mid caps I've been saying here, and again, it's not an IWM name, but again, one of these one tier below the mega caps also look really good. Okay, Palantir, we've been talking a lot about it, ripping out. Again, this is where this really gets started. ARM, another strong name, ripping back into all-time highs here on the day. Monster move, one of the trades Jay mentioned here on the day. Again, cloud names also. I want to show it's not just semiconductors. It's not just your major tech names. The rest of the market is getting involved here. PanW, remember 208 when we called this one out? Breaking into 220 here on the day. So again, the market is very strong as a whole. And then as on the other side of this, we're also seeing Bitcoin now finding a lot of buying. You're holding your level, thank God, 108,000, 109,000. Thank God we're finally holding it. And now you're getting above the 50 MA, trying to break back up. And I'm going to tell you, if you get back above 116, 115.8 thousand here, you're going to shoot up quick in 120,000. There's no liquidity. You look really strong. Definitely be watching this. So, but as I'm saying, the market, you're seeing buyers react. That's the ultimate thing here. Before, and I want to show you, right? We go into NQ. I think futures give you a better example because you tested the 50 SMA a little bit more here. But you can see here on the 50 SMA on the hourly specifically, let's bring up the 50 right here. Let's hide all the drawings so it's just really clean here. But you can see we come down to support on NQ and you're just finding buyers over and over. That's why I was saying you can't get overly bearish there. You can't. But what you're seeing here from buyers now is not only are you breaking out, but you're getting continuation. Now, you're not getting great continuation intraday. There's not a ton of scalps here for me to take on the day. To be totally honest, I haven't really done anything except futures. But again, you're in this position now to where buyers are actually showing up and getting that breakthrough. That's the biggest thing that you want to see is, are you actually getting follow through and are you actually getting out of a range? And you are right now. So again, you're in a very good position as a market as a whole. Now, as far as stocks that I'm looking at, what I'm looking to trade, what I'm looking to get active in, what I'm looking to get aggressive, we'll jump into that. Now, again, the first thing I want to start with is SMH Semiconductors. Again, looking very impressive to get the day started here, breaking out to all-time highs. Once again, do a laundry list of names. AMD, another all-time high. TSM, great bounce here from Friday as well. You can see the key level that was mentioned here, around 295, bounce there, pushing into 300, push back down, bouncing holding our levels perfectly. AVGO has been in the middle ground. I will say, AVGO is probably one of my most bullish stocks that I have right now in the market. I'm telling you. But as far as options trading, it's just been very tough because you've been ranging here quite a bit. Now you're making higher lows, which is what you love to see, mounting 356, pushing above 359. You look really solid. You look really good. But again, if you can get this hold here above 359, I genuinely have you going into 365 and then all-time highs. And I think AVGO is one of those next up when it comes to semiconductors. Definitely be tracking this, one of those bullish semiconductors out there right now. Another area is going into cloud. I still think CrowdStrike is very bullish. I told you guys about this a few days ago. I recommend that you guys follow on Twitter. I try to keep the charts posted for all of you here. I'm going through mid caps, small caps, etc. The Twitter link is down below. Like I said, yes, you have to pay to be in Discord. And again, like if you're going to talk to me all day, see everything I'm talking about all day long, literally, and at night sometimes as well, like you're just going to have to pay for that. But if you want to get free information, I post nonstop on TikTok. I post like 4 or 5 times a day there. Twitter, like 25 to 30 posts a day. And obviously 2 videos a day on YouTube. Like, so there's a surplus of free information out there. So again, take advantage while you can. But CrowdStrike is one that we talked a lot about there too. CrowdStrike, as long as you're above 517, 518, I'm looking for a breakout into all-time highs. Again, you're making higher lows here. It looks really good. Definitely one of the strongest areas. I told you last night about Coinbase as well. I said above 349, looking for 369, 370. You hit it today once again. Again, it's the most bullish crypto name out there. Still looks really good. Next level is 382. Another name I mentioned was BMNR yesterday. Again, back above the 50 MA. Like to see that as well. Very strong. BLSH, more crypto names, getting a little bit of a bounce. But again, where you're at, what you're looking for there. Now, as far as names that I think are breaking out, have a lot of continuation and illiquidity here. Snowflake. I've mentioned this one as well. Donnie in Discord's been hammering, talking all about this one. Again, above 240, 244, there's no liquidity. I have nothing really towards 300. I mean, I would get a little bit like cautious when you start getting into like 289, 290 over here, right here, a little low you have back there. You can actually track it a little bit further back here as well. But you can see right there, 289, 290. I'd be looking at that, but Snowflake very strong. And you're seeing cloud names are showing strength, right? Another name out there too is like Datadog. DDOG, I believe. Yeah, Datadog. As you can see, mounting 153, trying to break out. And again, this is one of those names. Like you're now getting into the area of like CrowdStrike and those other, strong cloud names or cybersecurity, whatever, breaking out. And these has a lot of room. Very strong names. CRM, we talked about buying this when we told you guys. Stock buy down here. Buying stock between 235 and 222, easy money. You get above the 200 SMA, and this might become one of my top stocks in the market overall. I'm telling you right now. So again, be watching it while I'm looking at it, everything in between. Another name I mentioned last week, AMAT, Applied Materials, getting back above 229, 230. You had a little bit of a break up here on the day. You can see as well. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. Another semi name, right? Above 229, 228, breaking into 235, slowing down a little bit. Hold this, you still look good. Still looking for continuation. Now, some of the cheaper names, right? Some of the mid caps, under the mega caps, under the large caps, right? ARM is becoming a large cap, but again, nice breakout there. Looking for all-time. I think ARM is pushing towards $200. Telling you right now. PLTR we went over it, but above 189.5. Looking for $200 as well. Very strong. Now, like I said, the cheap names, what I think you're buying value-wise. Because again, someone asks me all the time, they're like, "Well, Tyler, where are you going long? What contracts are you getting for?" I'm like, I'm not trading IWM. I don't want to trade Russell. I want to trade the stocks inside the Russell because I want to profit off the move to the upside, the breakout. That's what I want to do. So again, the names I like. Number one, HIMS. Near the 200 SMA, I think it's a big buy near $45, $46. Big buying opportunity for sure for me. Another name out there I will say is Rocket Mortgage. Big fan back above 17.5. Get above the 50-day moving average. You look really good as well. This is a swing though. I'd be getting like six months to a year on contracts. I think you'll be surprised how much this will pay out when you really get the move. Telling you right now. CoreWeave back above 222, 224. We talked about this when it was dipping, when it got the dip from the unlocked period from the IPO. We said easy buy. Stupid selling, stupid FUD. No one knows what they're talking about. This was an easy buy down there. Path, UiPath. A lot of people talking about this name. But you know what's funny is people only want to buy these names when they're going straight up. Like we only want to. It's weird. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. Maybe it's just all emotion. I don't know. I think it's all emotions. But if you like a name when it's $20, why don't you like it more when it's $15? That's a question. That's a rhetorical. I don't know. That you answer that for yourself. It came down to $15. We talked about buying it. Perfect balance, pushing back up. Great overall move. What I'm looking at, SMCI it still looks good from a technical viewpoint. I'm not going to be trading this, but as long as you're above $48, you look really good. Bouncing over to 50 MA, you might come back into 56, 57. Looks decent. Again, would I be watching? Why I'd be watching it? Another area of the market that's really interesting is names like Ulta, this is really weird, right? So Ulta, if you don't know, was one of the best names back in like 2024, 2023 at all-time highs, went berserk, then it dipped down, and then remember Warren Buffett was buying it down here. Anyways, you're back into like all-time highs, kind of creeping back down. If you get back with the 50 MA, I think it's a long once again, but something you could be looking at is EL, SD Lauder. Shout out to AWOL on Discord, hyping these names up as well. He loves SD Lauder. Getting back above your 97 region, you hold that room into 120. The one I like a lot is ELF, ELF. You have an inverse head and shoulders clear as day formed out here. You start breaking above 155. I genuinely believe you're targeting back towards all-time highs, at very least $200. Again, great opportunity out there in the space. They make good money. Big fan personally. I'll tell you right now, I think it's just a great opportunity. That's personal opinion there. Again, what and why I'd be watching that as well. Again, I talked about rare earth materials, most likely going to dip. And you're seeing some of that right now. MP coming down into $60. That's your previous all-time high. You can see from way back here, back in 2022. If you flip this level, I would almost guarantee you come back down into the 200 SMA. That would be my next big buying opportunity. I would not be rushing to buy these names right now. Okay, you had a great trade. We talked about this great move towards 100. Again, if I was buying here at the 50 MA and you lost it, I'd be just getting out, cutting the loss for the time being. I'd be when you're finding weakness in an area that had a lot of strength, you should be conservative. You should be passive to look to get back in. That's my personal opinion. You do what you want to do. But I'm looking at this from a viewpoint of like, I want to be passive. I'm going to wait. I want to let this kind of work. I'll come back into this later, right? I want to be very conservative, buying this at a big level. So if I buy it, I'm okay holding it, right? And I like MP a lot. You know, when we were buying down here at 22, played out, did really well. So again, do what you got to do there as well. But again, those are the biggest names I'm watching right now. I would go into the end of the day as we were progressing throughout this week with the mentality of like, look guys, you have big earnings. Every day, it's almost like every day gets bigger here in the week, okay? Just telling you, and I still believe Trump and Xi are meeting on the 30th. I'll update you guys in the next video. But again, I'm pretty sure it's still happening unless they canceled that because the meeting went so good over the weekend. But as of right now, again, massive week. And tomorrow's SoFi earnings. Massive earnings there. I'll have another video coming out for that as well. Have a good one, traders. If you have any questions, let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you're asking questions about. More videos coming out. And make sure you're following on Twitter so you get all the updates every single day. See you in the next video.